streaming live. So you get to see my face and that of my guests. We are currently live, youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos. That also means you can drop your comments, your questions, whatever it is that you'd like to see or pass across in the chat box. And also you can tweet at us at Smooth 981 FM is the handle, and hashtag Office Journal 981 is the hashtag to use for the specific segment. What are we talking about? I have mentioned it before and I will do that again. In fact, maybe we should even start with some of the messages I already have. For instance, I have this one from Ayola Ajanaku saying the economic crunch is second to none. Pay rise can come to fruition if there is exceptional performance and dunking KPIs for Bricky. And of course, I got some other personal ones saying that, oh, when do you, because the question is, when is it okay to ask for a pay rise? And somebody said, right now, because the cost of fuel is insane. Now, that said, please make welcome my guest this beautiful morning. She is, of course, gorgeous, which you can attest to if you go to our YouTube channel. I am talking about the lead consultant of Unicorn HR Consulting, the one and the only Aderonke Salami. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you for heeding my 911 call. You'll not understand what it
Right.
is. But yeah, so let's get right into the conversation, starting from where we started it. Do you think the economic situation right now, which is not just particular to Nigeria, it's all over the world, do you think it is enough ground for an employee to walk up to the HR manager or the employer, as the case may be, and say, please give me more money. I need more money.
Well, I wouldn't say that the economic crunch isn't affecting everybody and people shouldn't ask for a pay rise, but it now depends on why and how you want that pay raise, right? To be honest, it depends on, what the income or what the ROI of the company is at the moment before we even begin to say that, oh, I want a pay raise. Um, I've had situations like this where people ask me these specific questions, and what I always say is you need to be able to balance um, what you offer and also what the company brings in at the same time. So you're not just looking at, yes, truly, with the fact that there's an economic crunch, it not just affects only the company itself. It also affects individuals as well. But like we always say, there are tricks and tips to how these things are done. And so if you ask me, yes, you can ask for a pay rise, and no, you can't ask for a pay rise.
I feel that is conflicting and confusing. Why can't I ask for a
And
pay rise? Now, if I have to come to, for instance, the cost of transportation that was taken into consideration when I was employed, if it was taken into, if we bring it to the table, then the cost of fuel was probably 140 something, and now it is nearing 200 in some places. In fact, according to the news this morning, it was said that the fuel queue in places like Abuja and the cost of fuel is about 250 naira. And so think about me. It means I get to spend more. Now, let's not even get started on food. How much I have to spend on food, you know? So why can't the employee on that ground say, I need a pay raise?
okay, so this is usually dependent on um, the kind of policies that have been structured in the first place in the organization. So if you have a structured organization that says your pay raise doesn't get into effect until so and so are put in place, then it might be a bit difficult to ask for that, which is why I said no in the first place. Although, depending on what kind of, like I said, HR policies that have been placed in the first place, that's what would determine whether or not you should ask for a pay raise. But that doesn't mean you do not ask or you shouldn't ask for a pay raise. All of this is dependent on what the organization has set up as the HR policy in terms of pay raises.
Hmm. Is it ever possible that an employer will just out of the blue say, oh, okay, I am being considerate of everybody. I am just going to give you a voluntary increase. Is it possible here in
Oh, yes,
Nigeria?
it is. Yes, it is. And we've had situations like that happen. There's so many companies that actually have been doing that. I'm sure you would have heard of Institute giving spousal support. So
You will
that's
have to pay for brand mention.
well, yeah, I should, but I just wanted to give like
I understand.
example as to some of these companies that are already doing things like this. So that's why I said it's not usually it's not set in stone as to you getting a pay raise based on whether there's an economic crunch or there's an economic increase or something like that. It's just basically about the HR policies that have been put in place in the first place.
Okay, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll get into the nitty gritty of the things involved, the conditions, and what you as an employee should think about first before you decide to go ahead to your HR manager, and possibly the things that can guarantee a yes. This is Office Journal here on Strictly Soul on Smooth 98.1.
My name is IBK Spaceship Boy. I inspire my world through music. On Smooth
So we have
98.1. Love music.
two like 3 minutes of ad break.
Okay.
Are you standing or sitting?
Sitting.
It looks like you're standing.
Oh, really? I think the table is actually low. That's why.
Okay.
Say bye bye to Tia Money Palava. Just dial *671# to open your Momo wallet today. The simple way to send and receive money to any phone number for free. Life is simpler because Momo is better than cash. And we are back. It's Dangote Bag of Goodies Season 3. Yes, help Dangote and become a multi-millionaire. Category 1, pick up the scratch card in bags of Dangote cement and win instantly. Category 2, pick up the scratch cards in bags of Dangote cement to spell DANGOTE and qualify to win ₦1 million star prize. Category 3, pick up the scratch cards in bags of Dangote cement to spell DANGOTE and qualify to win ₦5 million mega star prize. When you pick an alphabet with an eagle, one of the alphabets must carry the Dangote Eagle logo for you to win the mega star prize. Terms and conditions apply. The wait is over. The heat is on. Time to rise up. Can you keep up? It's a game. Fame, love, deceit, and betrayal. Plus cameras 24/7. You either go home or win. Africa's biggest show, Big Brother Naija, is back for a new season. And this year, it's on a whole new level. Follow 24/7 drama live from the launch weekend on the 23rd and 24th of July at 7 p.m. on DSTV channel 198 and Africa Magic. Headline sponsor, Pocket by PiggyVest, and associate sponsor, Flutterwave. Big Brother Naija is rated 18.
Introducing the Jobberman Starter Promo. Now you can post your
Do you
entry-level
recruit
job
for other
free on
organizations?
Jobberman and hire young
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Also, you can post as many entry-level or internship
The
opportunities
Jobberman
as
thing
you want.
just
There are no
made
limits.
me
Don't
ask
miss
that.
this opportunity to supercharge your workforce with the brightest minds.
Okay, we have
Visit
15
www.jobberman.com/employer/entry jobs now or call 081-3985-99.
So when we come back, we talk about the
Terms
things
apply.
involved
Now this is how your day starts.
when the employee goes to ask for a raise, and then the how and the role of the HR manager.
Breakfast, an infotainment-packed show with just the right programming you need.
By the way, don't forget traffic ahead. And coming up around 6 is the headline news.
Business Express takes you on how government policies affect your financial decisions.
Get entertained on the grapevine for all your celebrity gist.
And it's more action
On your favorite sport on the locker room.
events if you have to, because Lagos talks here on Smooth. It's all that and more.
With music just for you to help you commute all the way to work. The Smooth Breakfast.
Okay.
Mondays to Fridays from 6 a.m.
We are your number one contemporary.
I would have said welcome back, but I know that you did not move a muscle. So, yes, thank you for being there. This is Strictly Soul, actually, Office Journal here on Strictly Soul on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. And my name is Oluwaseun. We are talking about the things involved when the employee can ask for a raise, a pay raise in the office. And of course, we are getting your thoughts alongside 0809 444 is the number for you to send your WhatsApp messages to. Again, 0809 444 On Twitter, you can use the hashtag Office Journal 981 and tag the handle at Smooth 981 FM. Also, you can go to our YouTube channel where we are currently streaming live so that you can catch a repeat of it if you are, say, not privileged to be a part of this live broadcast. You can also send it to somebody who needs to see and, of course, listen to the information. And that's it. My guest is Aderonke Salami. She's an HR consultant. Now, back to it. Before that breather, I mentioned that we come back, we will get into the nitty gritty of what is involved, the conditions, what are the things. I mean, everybody can always use an extra money, an extra dollar, an extra naira. But
Yeah.
what are the things that the employee should first think about before, aside the HR policies of the company, the things that you should first think about before proceeding, going to your manager or your employer that I want a pay raise?
Okay. Also, the first thing that you should consider is the time spent in that organization. So, if you're a new employee, one of the things we always tell people is that at least wait maybe between 3 to 6 months, depending on what the agreement has been signed initially, before you even think about, asking for a raise. So, let me give an instance in this case. You just start work, you've already negotiated your salary, and then you found out that somebody else in that organization or somewhere else that you've heard is getting something higher than what you are currently earning. Because you have already signed the nitty gritty of the contract already, you don't just go and just say you want a pay raise because you've heard or you've seen someone else with a higher salary. One of the things you want to do is to just wait and be able to give value before you even think about it. Now that we've taken that aside, another thing you should consider doing is this: ask. There's no harm in asking, because I know that a lot of employees find it difficult to actually ask for a pay raise. When you um I think I was researching one time and I found out that pay scale said that about 37% of employees do not even ask for the, an increase in the pay raise at all. There's that complete fear. So the first thing is you want to condition your mind that you are eligible to that kind of thing. Now, the next thing you want to do is that you want to also look at what you have achieved in that
Mm.
organization. What are the things that you have done? Those are testimonials that you should use to be able to talk about asking for a pay raise. Then the next thing is that you want to talk to either your manager, your direct lead, or your direct team lead to say that this is, I've worked so far, and this is what I've done so far, and I believe at this time, with all of the things that I have done, I'm eligible for a pay raise. Then another thing is that depending on the organization, we have performance appraisals that are done on either a monthly, quarterly, or um, yearly basis, and you should use that as a yardstick for you to actually ask for a pay raise. So those are the major things that you can use to say, okay, I'm eligible for a pay raise. I've been able to achieve this. You want to have a timeline. You want to have your figures ready to say that I've been able to achieve this in this organization. I've been able to bring in this value. I've been able to support this company, and this is why, or this is the reason why I should have a pay raise. Oh, and then lastly, you always have to be polite about how you want to go about it.
What about situations where it looks like the kingdom of God suffered violence and the violent take it by force? There are some times you might have to resort to such measures. Now, while you were speaking, do you think the fear of, or yeah, the fear of losing a job or the whole job insecurity is one of the reasons people do not ask for a pay raise.
Yes, I totally agree with you that yes, the fact that, and this is not because it's hearsay. This is because it actually happens. You have people who ask for a pay raise and they'll tell you, well, fortunately, we don't want you to, let me use the word, scatter the system that we already have here. And so we're going to have to let you go. Things like this have happened. I've had, individuals, speak to me or ask me questions about how to go about it. And this is what I always say. When you're ready to ask for a pay raise, one of the things you should consider is, the end result as well, whether it is positive or whether it is negative. Either which will, you know that at the end of the day, you are trying to, increase your income. So
Mm,
be ready to receive a no at the end of the day. But before you even receive a no, before someone will actually even tell you to, tell you or let you go, it would mean that it is either you're not putting in your best or you're not giving the expected returns that they've invested in you. So before you can even think about it, which is why I said earlier that you have to always look at where you're coming from. What are the values that you have put in, in that organization? If you know you have not put in anything and you are just, you're just there, they're just paying you salary, you have to think about it because there might be a high probability that they will let you go.
mm. Should you think about the financial standing of the company before going ahead to ask it for a raise? And this is why I ask it. Earlier when we started, we were talking about the current economic crunch and realities and how the cost of transportation and all of that. But the truth is, it also affects the company. For instance, those who run on diesel, when originally, maybe when you were employed, the cost of diesel was 250 or 185, as the case may be. Right now, it's about 800, if I am correct. So should you think
Mhm.
about all of that too and say, oh, I am being considerate to them, or just do your thing and go and ask?
The truth is, not every employee would even know how much money comes into the company. So you can't even tell, except maybe you're in sales or maybe you're in the accounting department, and things like that. But you might not necessarily be privileged to have that kind of information. And which is why I said initially that even if you want to ask for a pay raise, you have to do your research, right? You have to be able to come from the angle of what is obtainable in the market. What is your current salary saying? Go to research places or research websites that you can actually get this kind of information. Um, yes, you have to be considerate, to be honest, but at the same time, if a company is not saying they are bankrupt, it means that money is coming in one way or the other, right? So you are still eligible depending on like I said before, the time you've spent there, the kind of value that you brought in, and according to your performance appraisal.
Hmm. At the end of the day, all man for himself, God for us all. But now let's just talk about the role of the HR managers in this whole thing because they are like the middlemen. They are the ones that give you the answer of the employer, and they are the ones that take the request of the employees to the employer. And the truth is, sometimes they can even decide not to take the request of the employee to the employer. So, what is the role of the HR? How do they come in? What is the significance of their role when it concerns our pay raise?
Well, the role of the HR is very important in these kinds of situations because, like you said, they're the middlemen. Um, but then again, the HR is supposed to be able to guide, the employees to say you should be approachable in the first place for them to even come and say, this is, this is the situation on ground. I'm having issues. I need money for this. I need an increase. I need this, and you should be able to guide. One of the things that would help is to be able to have like a template as to what should be done. That's where performance appraisals come in. If you have an employee that has a very high performance, you are able to talk to the employers and say, okay, this person has worked, for this time, this person needs a pay raise according to this, according to that, according to that. So that's where the HR manager plays an important part. You, like you said, is that the work is just to be the middleman. You take what has been said from side A, you take what is being said in side B, you bring it together and give advice as to how to go on from there.
Just to be very crystal clear, do the HR managers have any right to say no outrightly to the request of the employee concerning pay raise?
No, I don't believe that the HR managers should have an outright no, except this is something that has been discussed with the management, and you already have that decision from the management about things like that. If you're even going to say an outright no, there are ways to which you can do that, right? Um, you want to receive, the the question about pay raises in the first place. You don't just say an outright no without even considering. When you even receive it, how you respond to the employees is also very important. It will determine whether the employee decides to stay or decides to leave.
Mm. Thank you very much. And in case somebody is out there listening, maybe you have been in a situation like this before, do not worry, I got you covered. Just go to YouTube, and what you do is go to our channel. Then you copy the video. It is hashtag Office Journal 981. When is it okay to ask for a pay raise? And then you send it maybe to your HR manager, or maybe to your employer, or to somebody else within the office. Just make sure that you are not setting up a coup. And it is very important for the information. You can also quickly send in your thoughts and messages to 0809-444-0981. When we take this last one, when we come back, it will be the last leg of the conversation on Office Journal 981.
8.1. Love music, love life. My name is now maybe Dr. Patchpat for all tears.
So that you can quickly say, oh, when I asked you the last time, you just said no. Now hear it from a HR consultant.
Because of Momo Payment Service Bank, the new way to send and receive money way better pass cash. Say bye-bye to Tia Money Palava. Just dial *671# to open your Momo wallet today. The simple way to send and receive money to any.
So after we come back, we just wrap up. You give your final word, advice, or anything that maybe you felt you could have said in the course of it.
Music. Right here on Smooth 98.1.
What will make me feel better now is more money. And I hope that no, not I hope. I'm sure I'm not alone in that. Everybody wants more money. We are talking about when to ask for a pay raise here on Office Journal on Smooth 98.1. Use the hashtag Office Journal 981 on Twitter. And of course, send your messages to 0809-444-0981. You can go to our YouTube channel, which will be Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd like it if you will subscribe to our YouTube channel and then click on the notification bell. You can also drop your questions or whatever it is in the chat box, because we are wrapping up the conversation now, and I will be taking the last word of my guest. That is Aderonke Salami. She is an HR consultant. So yes, any final words, recommendation, advice, if you're playing the devil's advocate or you're trying to placate the employee and all of that?
Okay, so one of the things I always like to tell people is that the first thing you should consider is like giving value. Whether or not you're asking for a pay raise or not, give value wherever you find yourself. But that's not all. When it comes to a pay raise, you have to always evaluate everything that is involved from the beginning to the end, from when you ask until when you actually get. Sometimes you might actually get a no initially, but that shouldn't deter you, especially if it's an organization that you enjoy working in. So always go in for that. Meaning, just keep trying till you get a pay raise. It's as simple as ABC. There's nothing to fear. The worst that you'll hear is no.
So after you get to know, when next should you try?
When next you should try, you can give another 3 months to just see
3
how
months.
things are. Yes, you can, between 1 to 3 months actually, to see how, because the initial no you get is going to kind of destabilize the people involved, right? Just to see, and there might be back and forth as to, oh, should we not? In between the back and forth, should we not? It means that you're offering value. It means that they're also checking you out to see whether you're going to, continue to give the value that you already have. You don't want to just go for broke and then just let it slide. Keep doing the work that you do. Yes, even if I know it's hard sometimes, and I know it even destabilizes your morale. But at the end of the day, you're not just looking at the money, you're also looking at your career progression at the end of the day. So you don't want to leave at you don't want to leave things at a very terrible note, right? You also want to leave, even if you have to leave that organization, you also want to leave in such a way that, when they have to refer back to that organization, there's so much to say about you.
Mm. You touched on something I was going to ask. What if the employee feels he or she is being taken advantage of? For instance, you're doing the job of 5 people being paid for one, and you ask for the pay of two. Is it enough grounds for you to leave the office or the company and burn the bridges, especially when you have tried in all ways possible?
Well, that would depend on the employee's personal conviction, right? It depends on, okay, are you comfortable here? Is this something that you want to continue to do? I've seen situations where people will even actually threaten to leave and say they're going, um, you know, and then it becomes a big issue, and that yeah, everybody's scrambling to actually increase your pay. You want to be able to you want to be able to weigh the pros and the cons at the end of the day. Is this something that is going to be continuous? Is this something that you like? Is this something? And what we are having these days, especially with the Gen Zs, you know
Ah,
um we see that people are not waiting anymore, and so the onus is on the on the employer to decide, is this person worth my time? Should I invest in this person, or should I just let go? So that's what I'll say with that.
thank you so much. If you're listening, wherever the shoe fits, make sure that you wear it. And if you need to adjust the size of your shoe, please, by all means, go ahead and do so. It's been an enlightening one. Thank you so much for the light and, of course, the very calm balance that you give to everything. I think that's what HR consultants do best. My guest has been Aderonke Salami. She's the lead consultant of Unicorn HR Consulting. And, of course, you can check her out on social media platforms all around. In LinkedIn, yes, you can start with LinkedIn, you can start with Twitter, you can start with Instagram, wherever the name is the same. It is the Aderonke Salami, if I'm correct.
Yes,
Yes.
you are. Yes,
All
you
right,
are.
thank you. I look
Thank
forward
you
to
so much.
another conversation with you.
No problem.
All
As
right,
always.
Lagos and the rest of the world, you can still catch up on this conversation by going back to our YouTube channel, which is at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. You just search for the playlist Strictly Soul and you'll see the video right there. Hashtag Office Journal 981. And then you can always get whatever it is that you want and watch and watch. Okay, a question just came in. I don't know if we can still take this quickly. Namdi says, what of organizations that don't have the HR department? Only manager in this case is like a small business.
Right. Okay. So, which is why I said that at the end of the day, all of these things is dependent on the kind of organization and the kind of structure you have. If you have a structure like that where there's no HR manager, it is okay to go directly to either your team lead, or your boss. Now, when you speak to your boss, about it, it is always nice to follow up with an email and a very polite one, so it doesn't look like you are attacking. Because as much as we would like to say, oh, go for broke, you also want to be very emotionally intelligent, with these kinds of things. Just have that conversation, and whatever comes, you have to be ready for whatever comes out of that conversation, whether it is positive or whether it is negative. Sometimes you'll be thrown off guard. Sometimes you'll be led forward. It now depends on how you react, to these kinds of things. You don't want to come out, and that's why I said that be ready at the end of the day for what comes out of these kinds of things. Is either you are going to get a positive review or a negative response rather. And so just be ready, but you still have to do it no matter which way. If you've been in an organization for 3 years and there hasn't been a pay raise, there's a problem. There's a
Mm.
huge problem. So you need to find out what is happening, right? There's some organizations that don't even have to wait for you to ask. They will just go ahead and, increase it depending on the policy that has been there.
And I will quickly take this last message as I run out of here. Chizoba says, this is why it is important to have structures and policies. If there are earning structures in an organization, it prevents things like this. An example is banks or civil servants who earn according to qualifications, promotion, and the likes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. We have to go now. Thank you so much to everybody who's been a part of it. We appreciate you. Of course, the soul music continues from now till 1 p.m. This is Strictly Soul here on Smooth 98.1. That's weird. Thank you. I will send the link of this YouTube stream to you in case you want to share it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it
All
by.
right, no problem.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good
Enjoy your
day.
salad
Bye.
and eat all the meat.
Thank you. All right.